As 4.7's bedtime story continues to feed us more lore crumbs about the Traveler's story, it actually unveils a lot more than meets the eye and connects the current plot to one of the old pieces of content in Genshin's roster. Because now, I want to theorize that Lumine's final words to Aether actually reveal one of the potential endings of Genshin Impact, and it all revolves around the reveal of the Sea of Flowers at the end. Also, disclaimer, this video is just a theory and nothing is indicative of the final product. Also, I'm using Lumine as my Abyss sibling because that's what all of the promotional material uses, and I also think Lumine looks really cool as a sibling. And a bit of an announcement. I reopened my Patreon where I post behind the scenes content, updates, and other stuff. Don't worry, I'm planning to keep a lot of the content actually publicly available without any kind of payment. So head over there if you want to see more Aster things. But let's begin. What is the Sea of Flowers? The Sea of Flowers is a location that was revealed by Lumine during the 4.7 Arcade Quest interlude bedtime story, where she finally gets her deserved talk with her brother after years of being apart. She reveals that one of the reasons as to why she can't journey with her sibling away is that at the end of her travels, she found a place that is known as the Sea of Flowers at the end. It was also revealed that in the past, when the two of them were still traveling together between worlds, Aether had mentioned that he wanted to find the one place in the universe where these flowers were in full bloom. The travelers also have a strong history with these flowers, revealing to Mary Ann during one of Fontaine's world quests that the Intivots used to bloom in the place where the travelers were from. Another interesting description about the Sea of Flowers is that this place is so otherworldly that it's unrecorded by the Irminsul, or at the very least that's what it seems to be, as Nahida was unable to read the rest of the siblings' journey due to mysterious interferences in the records of the Irminsul becoming fuzzy. However, why this place is so important is because the Sea of Flowers at the end is one of the first ever places that was ever revealed to us in Genshin through the Teyvat Travail, a short animated trailer for all of the arcade quests in Genshin as narrated by Dainsleif. And the Sea of Flowers is actually present in the final moments of Genshin Impact, and this is where Aether's full journey is culminating to. It's presented to us as an epilogue of some sorts, where we arrive at the sea after everything that has happened in Snezhnaya and even potentially Celestia. The Sea of Flowers is not Teyvat's story, it's the Travelers. The fact that this has been revealed to us is a massive setup to the future, and that's why I want to dissect it. Because I believe that there are 5 crucial events that will happen by the end of Genshin Impact as we arrive at the Sea of Flowers. And the first one is the revelation of Lumine's final answer and the truth of the world. Lumine questions the coincidence of arriving at the Sea of Moving Flowers at the end of her journey. Why did this place suddenly appear before her? Well, first I want to theorize that the Sea of Flowers isn't actually a place, but rather a dummy plane that was similar to Kyrebear's realm of consciousness, where Lumine's inner wants manifested this plane for her. I believe that the Sea of Moving Flowers is more so a transcendent plane, and it's connected to Khaenri'ah's concept of dreams, and maybe even the dreams of its people. Because I theorized that it was in this sea that Lumine believed that she had to save Khaenri'ah and rebuild it. A sea filled with the national flowers of Khaenri'ah, maybe she thinks that it was a calling to her. And I believe that her arriving here was what cemented that responsibility in her mind, that her true fate was not only to the people she had lost in the past, but also to rebuild the future. I also want to propose a theory that this is actually the moment when Lumine becomes intertwined with the fate of the world, through her strong ambition of wanting to save the people. Throughout the Arcade Quest, we are constantly witnessing Lumine's want to revive the homeland by any means necessary. We learn that she is willing to risk even the 1% chance despite everything, and I believe that it was during this choice to turn back after her journey that tethered her to the world, almost similarly to how the people of Teyvat gain visions. However, I theorize that when we come back here for a second time, it's in the sea where Lumine realizes the cyclical nature of her journey, that she ended her first journey here and she will end her second journey here as well. And I hope that when we finally get to this place, she will somehow realize either the futility of her quest and accept the fate of the Khaenri'ahns, or she will fight continuously till the very end. Number 2. I have a theory that upon reaching the Sea of Flowers, Aether will be presented with a choice: to leave Teyvat permanently through the final doorway and keep his descender status, or stay tethered to the bonds that he festered in his journey and the want to save his sister. It would actually be a really interesting twist if this decision was what made Aether lose his Descender status, but I do think that Aether will be presented with that ultimatum as he comes face to face with the final door. Number 3 is the final fight with Dainsleif. It was also revealed in the epilogue that in the sea, we will have to fight Dainsleif. Dainsleif says that the Traveler must defeat him, command him to step aside and show him that they are worthier than he of rescuing the sibling. Dainsleif's loyalty to Lumine throughout the story, even as she was the Abyss Princess, continues to remain strong, as Lumine mentions in 4.7 that during their conversation, that Dainsleif had actually hesitated to raise his own sword against her. However, what this entails is currently unknown. Are we going to fight Dainsleif to prove our worth through a traditional sense? Or are we going to fight a Dainsleif who's already lost himself at this stage of the story due to corruption? But also, this implies that we have to defeat Dainsleif to somehow acquire the ability to reweave fate. This is one of the more questionable ones, and there's not really a lot of backing as to how Dane's defeat would be the catalyst to this. My guess is that maybe there's an artifact in the Sea of Flowers that was able to reweave fate, or maybe that ability was in Dane's leaf all along. My only speculation is that it's connected to Dane's title being the Bowkeeper with the Irminsul thing, and his constellation being the Snake Ring constellation with, cycles. But there's not really anything else to work with. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see because I'm drawing blanks right now. Next is the final showdown with the Loom of Fate. I speculate that it's in the sea that we're going to finally confront and destroy the current Loom of Fate that the Abyss have, gaining the ability that Dainsleif explains as the ability to reweave the threads of fate. The Loom of Fate itself was expanded on in the Bedtime Story interlude. It's theoretically a way to create new branches in people's perceived realities, similar to how Caribert used it to recreate his life in the future beyond his death. While Caribert was only able to create memories, stronger looms are able to create ley lines. However, I further theorize that by the end of the series, Aether will be a new Loom of Fate. And it's by using this ability that he reweaves a new reality where Lumine is saved from the summoning altogether. There's a mysterious section in Aether's lore bio that is currently locked known as the Loom of Fate. And we actually have yet to receive any kind of update to the story despite nearing 4 years. But what's interesting is that the summoning system is technically intertwined in the lore of Genshin, and it's because I believe that the wishing materials can paint us an interesting picture on how Lumine was summoned and what happened to her that bound her to Tevat. According to Scaramouche, the sibling came after the heavens responded to a process known as the summoning, and the closest thing that we have to this in lore are the wishing materials. The intertwined fate description states, its glimmer can entwine fates and connect dreams, just as how its glimmer links stars into the shape of a heart's desire. And then descriptions of the Primogems state, a primordial crystalline gem that's beyond the mundane world, shines with the condensed hopes and dreams of universes that once were. So my guess is that Lumine's story did begin in Conria with the people attempting to manifest her otherworldly power through manipulating the Primogems, something that is abundant in the iconography of Conrians or Conria-related characters and even certain anomalies. Then subsequently, summoning her and trapping Lumine's fate in Tevat. So I believe that in the Sea of Fate, we will find a mechanism or a new power that is able to finally undo the summoning. And last, I want to theorize that the sea is the final resting place of the Conrians. And once the story is over, the sea will finally disappear. I want to return to the somber story of the Intivats. It once bloomed all over the nation. It would only last 2 weeks before wilting. But if you were to pluck one and take it out of Conria, the petals would stop growing and turn hard. Only when it finally returned to its home soil would the petals grow soft once more and finally turn to dust. So the Intivat is a symbol for a wanderer far from home, signifying the tenderness of the homeland. I really like the symbolism that it shares with the people of the Abyss. The nation was once full of its peoples that lived their normal lives with their normal lifespans, but after being forced out of their homeland and cursed with immortality, they stopped growing and were forced to live forever. Only then, when they return to their homeland, will they be cured and pass away forever. Some other lore tidbits that I found was, is this place connected to other places in the lore? Some speculate that it's connected to the Dandelion Sea, while others speculate that it's connected to the afterlife itself. Some speculate that it's connected to the passing of the goddess of flowers, while some speculate that it's as ethereal as the celestial court where the Seelie and the moon goddesses came from. But I like the idea that this place is something that transcends reality, and that it's not actually a place at all, just a somber gateway between worlds. But that's it for me today. A video that's more speculative and honestly just a fun dissection into what little dialogue we got from all of this, because Genshin loves its slow build up. Oh my god, I'm gonna graduate before Genshin ends. Anyway, my name is Aster and thank you for chilling with me. Bye bye!